Microfogger 2 could very well be the perfect solution to you if you are in a small workshop or if you're working from home. If you are a laser guy or a lighting tech or anyone involved in events and you're doing any kind of projections whatsoever, and you're in a small space, maybe due to the lockdown that we're experiencing right now, and you want to work from home, but you don't have access to your full-blown smoke machines, Microfogger 2 could very well be the perfect solution for you. And if that's your situation, then this is just for you. This video is just for you, because today I am joined by Avanesov from Vosentech, who is the manufacturer of Microfogger 2. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome to ArgonTV, Ivan. How are you today?
Hello, Tim. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Yes, I'm great today.
Fantastic. And before we actually get into describing and talking about the Microfogger 2, which I think is awesome, maybe you could give us a little bit of history to how you got started in the industry, and then who the company is and what the company does, and just, you know, what you've been doing in the last few years.
Sure, of course. So it all started off roughly about 2 years ago when I personally needed a small smoke machine. And of course, we're all familiar with the larger, bulkier box type smoke machines that they use in clubs and many performances. But there's many limitations with those sorts of devices. Of course, their size, their weight, and more importantly, their power supply. They're usually plugged into a wall socket. And this really limits exactly how much flexibility you can have with positioning or using such devices. So when I took a look at the market and wanted to purchase a small battery-powered smoke machine, I found that either they were almost unavailable or they were way too expensive. Back at the time, and still, there are other competitors such as the Look Solutions Tiny FX smoke machines, but although they are small, they are really priced out of the big amateur price range. They're priced, some of them, over $1,000. So I thought there's definitely potential in this market for amateur filmmakers, and as I'll go on to talk about later, a lot of other people have found them quite useful for a small battery-powered smoke machine that is also reasonably priced. So now, 2 years later, here at Vosentech, we specialize in manufacturing such smoke machines. And here with me, I've got the Microfogger 2. That's one of our latest offerings. It's just a small, very small smoke machine, battery-powered, and produces quite a lot of smoke, especially for its size. Of course, not comparable with the larger smoke machines in clubs, but it's not really designed to replace them. It's designed as a additive sort of thing. You can place this where you could never place other smoke machines.
You know, I think this is very interesting that you found a problem that you have and then found a solution for it and then shared it with someone else. This is true entrepreneurship at its best.
Yes, I guess so.
And you absolutely know that if you have the problem, there's other people with the same problem. And, you know, I'm sure that there are a lot of hobbyists or the guys who are just getting started in lasers or lighting design or whatever, who, as you say, are looking for small scale solutions without having to invest thousands of dollars. Like right now, you know, I'm sat at home. I'm just in my front room. I don't need a stadium-sized fog machine in my house. Something like you have is perfect. So I think what you've created is something that's very awesome and totally unique. I've never seen anything else like it in the world from anyone else. And I can't believe that no one else has ever thought about it before.
Yeah. So our smoke machines, they're, although in principle, it's a smoke machine, small, it's nothing revolutionary. However, the technology that we actually use in these is quite different than that of the Look Solutions smoke machines. And that's really what allows us to, first of all, there are some features on this smoke machine that even the Look Solutions does not have. This new technology that we're using really allows us to change the density of the smoke. So you can see it's quite dense here, but you can make it a very fine mist. And additionally, this technology really allows us to make it small and affordable. If we were using the same technology as in the Look Solutions, it would be nearly impossible to retain this sort of price range. It would have to go up as their product did.
Yeah, it's very cool. I like that. And I think this is something that once people know about, it's going to be something I want one of these. And what I like about it is the portability of it more than anything is, you know, I've got my green screen, I've got my laptop, I've got my little microfogger, and I can literally go and do a show anywhere I want without having to plug in anything. In fact, you can even get like very small lasers now and very small projectors, and you could have this mini show going on for virtually, you know, very low investment, and you can get started. And, you know, in order to be great, you've got to start somewhere. And I think these kind of tools allow the beginner, or not even the beginner. I was talking to some people recently, like Louis Wilkinson, who does these very intricate laser designs. And they're again, he's absolutely totally unique. I've never seen anything like it. He sets up these tiny little dioramas of laser and takes photographs of them. And this is something that he could use. So even at the professional level, if you're working in a small kind of environment, then this is perfect. And I like what you said. It's not a replacement for the big, you know, smoke machines and haze machines. It's defined for a specific purpose. And I like that it's complementary, not competitive.
Yep. I mean, as you mentioned, the size really is the novelty sort of factor. We have found that a lot of our customers, especially photographers, what they tend to do is just throw it in their camera bag. They've got lights, they've got the camera, of course, microphones. So why not have a smoke machine in there as well? Because often atmosphere really does make or break the shot. Although we've seen a lot of interest in the amateur filmmaking and photography in department, we've definitely had a lot of interest amongst the more professional productions as well, because really this smoke machine is just as good as the more expensive ones from, for example, from Look Solutions. And of course, with their budget they can definitely purchase a lot more of these, which gives them a lot more flexibility. And as I mentioned, sometimes they even find that these smoke machines are better suited for their purposes, because with traditional smoke machines, you've only got that one really powerful output. Here, you can really get that fine control over exactly how much smoke you want to get.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, this is a great introduction to the Microfogger 2. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get back with Ivan, and we'll have a look at the Microfogger 2 in a bit more depth. We'll be back in just a moment. Hi, welcome back. This is Tim Bennett from ArgonTV, and I am joined by Ivan Avanesov from Vosentech, and we're talking about the Microfogger 2, and it looks like the absolute perfect solution to you if you need smoke in a small area, or you have special needs. But one of the things I did want to ask you, Ivan, was when I first met you, you were Workshop Science, and it seems like you've changed your name now. What happened there?
Yes, so many of our customers may know us by the name Workshop Science, but over the past weeks, we've been slowly rebranding to our name, Vosentech. We've got a new website up and running, vosentech.com. I'm sure we're going to link it down below in this video, so you can check it out. But just for the people watching right now, we are the same company. We're just slowly transitioning over to this new name.
Great, and I actually like the new name more because it's shorter. The other one was, it's kind of long and
definitely
it doesn't roll off the tongue very well. So I actually like the name more. So good job on that one. And then you were talking about your customers just now. What kind of customers do you find you attract? Who is your customer?
So I think we can really group our customer base into two main categories. We've got the industrial and scientific users, as well as the users in the entertainment, photography, video industry. For the scientific and industrial uses, we found that there's quite a lot of interest for the Microfogger amongst airflow testing technicians. So although most people are not familiar with this, when a building is constructed, oftentimes there are regulations that state that you must check that there's no drafts coming in from doorways, or well, mostly for windows, but doorways as well. And airflow testing technicians, they previously used small glass ampules that they would break, and they actually had smoke inside, which is of course quite an expensive and not very good method of doing so. So they found that the microfogger is of course a much better solution for them, because they can create a fine wisp of smoke anywhere for a very low price. They don't need to buy a new glass ampule to break every single time. And this allows them to visualize exactly how the smoke moves, and therefore determine exactly where this air leak is coming from. In fact, 2 of our distributors are in this industry and are distributing our product to such technicians worldwide. That's the main use in the scientific/industrial sphere. However, we have had a few other customers with quite niche uses. A few of them actually were studying lasers and needed to visualize exactly how the laser beam would be moving. This does apply to the entertainment industry, as I understand, Tim, you are part of laser shows and such. So carrying on with the entertainment industry, there is a lot of course, interest amongst prop makers, special effects studios, because they can mount this pretty much anywhere. We've had people simulate a cooking pot. They've put a microfogger inside, and it looks like it's steaming. Really, the uses are endless. And of course, the Microfogger 2, its main new feature is the remote control functionality. So you can really place it wherever you want, and it'll create smoke just at the press of the button. Of course, as you can imagine, photographers also using it for atmosphere. The list goes on and on.
Yes, how fascinating. I think that's really, really intriguing that you create something with specific purpose. Other people see it and it triggers off ideas in their head, and they use it in a different manner completely that you designed it for. That's brilliant. I think that's fantastic.
We've been blown away by just how many uses people find for it. In fact, like recently we've had a customer use our smoke machines for smoke cocktails in pubs. So what they do is they purchase the Microfogger and they add a small amount of smoke to their cocktails. And when they bring it out to the customer, it's essentially smoking, which looks really cool.
That's truly amazing. That's really like, wow, creative.
Yeah.
And you know, it's something I could have done with, like in the early days of lasers, when I was starting in like the late early 1990s, I was working on big projects where we had these big beam tables with 100 mirrors and multiple scanners and everything. And we had to line up the laser at 50 millimeter height, and they all had to run perfectly. But if you're lining up in the day, you can't see it. So I didn't smoke, you know, and a lot of laser technicians, they have a cigarette hanging out their mouth and they blow smoke over the beams so they can see them. So I used to have to get someone to stand at the end of the beam table and blow smoke across the table so I could see it, you know. So this would have been perfect. Where were you in 1990 when I needed you? So yeah, so fantastic. I really love the concept of it. And, you know, you were saying about putting it in a food bowl so it looks like it's smoking. That's really, really cool. And it opens up so many different markets for you, which is really excellent. So good job. And you have some accessories with it, you know, like the remote I saw. And then how do people get the smoke? Is it coming canisters or is it bottles or how does that work?
So it's somewhat similar to the other smoke machines that people are used to. The smoke is generated via evaporation of this fog fluid that we have. It's quite similar to the smoke machine fluid that you have in normal clubs or theaters, except it's a lot more concentrated. It isn't as runny as the usual smoke machine fluid. So we get a lot of questions whether or not people can use their existing smoke machine fluid with the Microfogger, and the answer to that is unfortunately no. But we sell this in just small bottles. If you purchase a Microfogger, one will come included in the set already. And in order to refill it, you simply unscrew the fluid tank as such. And what you'll do is simply pour a small amount of liquid inside here. There's a little procedure you have to get around the edge of the fluid tank, but that's all detailed in the instruction manual. Once you fill it up, simply put it back on and you are ready to go. So it takes less than 30 seconds and you're ready to use it immediately.
Awesome. And then one little tank will last approximately how long?
So 1 2 milliliter tank, one of these tanks is 2 milliliters, will last for around 4 minutes of continuous use at full power. However, if you set it to a lower power setting, this will last you for a long, long time. And 4 minutes maybe doesn't sound like that much, but really it is enough to fill up a decently sized room with smoke. It's quite a lot of smoke.
Yeah, I mean, 4 minutes is quite a long time. Most of our laser shows are like 3.5 minutes long. So, you know, that's a full production. So that's excellent. Okay, so brilliant. It sounds like I want one, and I'm sure a lot of other people want one. And if they want one, how do they get in touch with you?
So we've got a website, vosentech.com. On there, we have international shipping. Simply select exactly what you want, which accessories you want, and you'll be able to purchase it. Currently, we're back ordered until the start of September, but once we're back in stock, we'll be shipping out immediately. You're always free to place a back order in the meantime.
What a nice position to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will put all of the links to the website and everything, how you can get in touch with Ivan beneath this video. And it's been great having you here and chatting about this. I'm really excited about it. I forget, I think I was just scrolling through the internet and I came across it and I thought, wow, this is really, really novel and unique. And I think a lot of people will be interested to see this. So thank you for coming to join us on Argon TV.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Tim.
And lastly, just before we go, a question I like to ask all successful entrepreneurs, and you clearly are a successful entrepreneur. What is your secret to success?
What is our secret to success? I think, as with many other businesses, one of the parts of the success was really just being at the right time in the right place. Essentially, it was a good time. There were no real competitors at that time for us. And when we released the original Microfogger, we saw a lot of interest. I guess part of the success is luck, but then after that, we really started working on scaling this up, making this more manufacturable, adding the features that people really, really wanted, which in the case of the Microfogger 2, people really wanted the remote control functionality, and that has really opened quite a lot of opportunities for our customers. I think luck has a big part to do with this, but then it's just the hard work afterwards that goes into the real success.
Yeah, and I think luck is kind of created. You position yourself to be in a position where you can take the opportunity. And I think, I agree, you know, the right time, the right place, but you have to be the right person to see the opportunity. And you clearly were. So congratulations to you and the whole team behind you. Because I'm sure you don't do this alone, do you?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Ivan. It's been great having you here. And I will share this with the community. I think you'll get a lot of excitement. And I look forward to supporting you in the future with new products. If you have any, please come back to Argon TV.
I'll be sure to let you know.
Thank you very much. So this is Tim Bennett with Argon TV. I've been talking to Ivan Avanesov from Vosentech, and we have been talking about Microfogger 2. I think this is the perfect solution for you if you need a smoke machine in a small or confined space or specialized industries. So the details how to get in touch with Ivan will be beneath this video. And I look forward to seeing you in another episode of Argon TV very soon. Have a great day.